With rumors of the next Mario Kart fluttering about on the internet, there's a lot of talk about what sort of tracks the next title will include. I think a character in Mario Kart who never got a lot of good representation track-wise is Donkey Kong. Think about it. Even though the Big Ape has appeared in every single Mario Kart, the tracks that represented him have never been anything more than a regular jungle, except for these two snow-themed tracks that don't even reference the Donkey Kong series. Why are DK Pass and DK Summit named after Donkey Kong? They could have easily been Toad's Mountain, and it would have made no difference. While tracks like DK Mountain are certainly classics, I think there is a lot more to the Donkey Kong series that has been underused in the crafting of Mario Kart tracks. If you're looking for interesting biomes in the Donkey Kong Country series, look no further than Donkey Kong Country 2, a platformer that to this day still boasts some of the most interesting level themes I have ever seen in a video game. Here are 4 obscure levels that need to be turned into Mario Kart tracks. Let's begin with the Beehive levels. The 4th world of Donkey Kong Country 2 is based around a run-down theme park. What are the bane of theme parks? Bees. With all the left-out soda, dropped churros, and unfinished lollipops littering the park, these little guys are gonna come out in full swing to get themselves a taste. 2 levels in this world focus on beehives. Inside these hives, the Kongs have to avoid the notorious Zinger, all while getting stuck in some sweet, sweet honey. There are also other enemies in here for some reason, like porcupines. Not sure why there are porcupines in a beehive, but hey, they make for a good obstacle. What is so memorable about these levels are how they use their theme to influence gameplay. It feels more cramped, much like a beehive would be, and your mobility is constantly being hindered by the honey patches. These levels are a gem and represent the fullest potential of what an interesting and creative level can be. So how would these beehive levels work as a Mario Kart track? The main obstacle of this course would be the honey, and if you find yourself hitting it, you not only get slowed down, but you also get a honey version of the blooper, which will cover your screen. Then you've got the zingers. Flying enemies are difficult to implement as obstacles in Mario Kart, but many of these zingers actually fly close to the ground, making them as good as a ground obstacle as they would be in the air. They also could alternate spaces on certain jumps, causing you to need to time which part of the ramp you go up on so that you don't fly right into their stingers. One reason it is unlikely this would end up being a Mario Kart course is that there is already a bee-themed Mario location that is worthy of being made into a track, the Honey Hive Galaxy. It's from a more recent and more popular game, and it's associated with a character who was actually playable in Mario Kart, the Honey Queen. The Queen Bee isn't the most popular Mario Kart character and wasn't even selected to return to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. But if she does get into the next Mario Kart, a track based around her home galaxy may come with her. The reason I think that the Donkey Kong Beehive is a better choice for a Mario Kart track is that the bees are hostile in these beehives, while the Honey Hive Galaxy is filled with friend bees. Wouldn't you rather have a beehive track where the bees are obstacles instead of just cheering you on in the background? Donkey Kong Country 2 is a pirate-themed game, and as such, there are pirate ship levels. There are 3 types of pirate ship levels in the game: standard ship deck levels, sail levels, and below-deck underwater levels. When you compare this being the first world to how just about every other Mario game starts, you'll see why the Donkey Kong Country series gets a creative edge over the Mario series in terms of its environments. Starting a Mario game? Hope you like grass. Starting Donkey Kong Country 2? Avast ye, mateys! These levels prioritize level design over creating a believable ship. I don't know how this ship is still afloat considering that they're straight up cut in half at certain points. I find these levels to be almost surreal, like you are going on some sort of massive structure based around the look and feel of a pirate ship. There has been some pirate representation in Mario Kart before, but we have yet to see a full-on pirate ship track, and I think there is no better way to implement pirates into Mario Kart than to use Donkey Kong Country 2. Since there are 3 types of pirate ship levels, the Mario Kart track should be one of those 3-part mega tracks where you begin on the sails and make your way down below deck to the underwater section. The obstacles would consist of a bunch of crocodiles firing cannons at you. And if this kind of track were put into Mario Kart, the developers would no longer be able to ignore King K. Rool, and he would have to be added as a character. With all the different Donkey Kong reps finding their way into Mario Kart, and with K. Rool being a character in Smash, I think this is a real possibility. Next up are the King K. Rool Castle levels. Now, I debated actually adding this one to the list. With all the Bowser Castle tracks around, do we really want another track based on some villain's spooky, dark-colored castle? Well, when you actually look at the difference between Bowser and King K. Rool's interior design decisions, you will find that these castles would be nothing alike. Both Bowser and King K. Rool have castles, but what are the main differences between them? Main difference? King K. Rool's castle does not contain any lava. I guess he understood how hard it is to ship lava to a castle. Instead, K. Rool's castle's main dangerous liquid of choice is radioactive waste. Probably still not the best thing to keep in your castle, but certainly different from lava. Another difference is that King K. Rool has these frozen wastelands inside his castle. I guess King K. Rool doesn't want to pay the gas bill around here. So next time you go assuming that just because a video game villain has a castle, it'll be exactly like Bowser's castle, you might want to consult an evil castle architect. If this were implemented into Mario Kart, it would admittedly be similar to a Bowser's castle stage, but with radioactive waste instead of lava. There would be some ice sections as well to reference the ice levels in the castle world. In total, there have been 11 Bowser's Castle Mario Kart tracks. Don't you think another villain deserves to get at least one castle in there? I will never get over how absolutely stunning the concept of the Bramble levels in Donkey Kong Country 2 are. There's something just so magical about these levels, so serene yet so dangerous. What is so interesting about these levels is that their main environment is dangerous to the touch. There are a few spots in the levels that have these wooden planks built on the brambles, but that is few and far between. The final two Bramble levels utilize Squawks the Parrot for traversal, allowing you to fly through the level and avoid the thorns. But I really have to give a shout out to the first Bramble level that utilizes timing these barrel cannons to get yourself through the maze. I found that to be a really creative way to navigate a level where you mostly cannot touch the floor without giving you the gift of flight. The Bramble level has been criminally under-referenced since its inception in Donkey Kong Country 2. The most iconic thing about these levels are its incredible music track. The music even made it into Super Smash Bros., which is quite the achievement considering how many great Donkey Kong songs that could have made it in. Unfortunately, the Brambles didn't make it as a Smash Bros. Stage, and never made it as a Mario Kart track either. While this would be the most interesting and most iconic use of a non-jungle Donkey Kong track in Mario Kart, it is far from the easiest to implement. How does one have a whole race track when the floor is trying to stab us? The obvious answer is to cover most of the track in the planks and task the player with avoiding low-hanging brambles, but I think we can do better than that. Much like how the levels challenge the player with avoiding all this hostile territory, the Mario Kart track should be much of the same, challenging the players to make certain tight jumps so as to not fall off and be impaled. Or perhaps the next Mario Kart will implement planes alongside carts. If there were sky tracks introduced into Mario Kart, then the Bramble levels would be at the top of my list on what sort of track should make it in. With the reintroduction of Diddy Kong and Funky Kong into Mario Kart, I think the series is gearing up to give us more of the big monkey. Donkey Kong is so much more than just a monkey who lives in a jungle and eats bananas. His game series is filled with beautiful environments, most of which have not been represented in any game outside of where they were introduced. Seriously, look at how many tracks in Mario Kart are just generic grasslands or a real-life city. It's a shame that interesting track possibilities like a beehive or a pirate ship have not been implemented yet. I'm sure it's a long shot that Nintendo will give any love to this now obscure installment in the Donkey Kong franchise, but hey, I can hope. Hey, if you like this video on Mario Kart, check out my critique of all the city tracks they put in the Booster Course Pass. You may be surprised to hear what I have to say about them. Or check out my live channel where we played and critiqued every Mario Kart track in a row. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.